Hello there, all you wonderful people, and welcome to the video. In this video, I am going to talk about, does depersonalization, derealization ever get any better? It's a question that you've probably asked yourself, whether you've just got this or maybe you've had it a little while now, and you are just sick of it, and you are literally saying to yourself, goodness me, does this ever get any better, or is this what it's like for the rest of my life? So in this video, I am going to share what the answer to that is, and some potential things which might be holding you back from things getting better. Does depersonalization ever get better? Yes. Very simple answer. Yes, it does. It most definitely gets better. It might seem impossible right now that things will ever get better, but they will. Everything in your life is constantly changing and nothing stays the same. This is one thing that everybody forgets and nobody even really thinks about, is that everything in your life is always changing. Some things that change over time are your interests, your dislikes, your likes, your friends, your experience, your knowledge, your weight, your emotions, where you live, your job, your attitudes, your partner, maybe your priorities, things that bother you. All of these things change over time. So why should your DPDR be any different? Your DPDR will change, and it's usually always for the better. The vast majority of people overcome it or get it to a point where it no longer has any real impact on their lives. And this will happen to you too. So think back to all those things that change in your life. Why is DPDR just some kind of magical thing that sits outside of all of that? It's not, it's the same, and it can change as well. If you're actively trying to overcome it, then there is no other outcome than overcoming it. It might take different lengths of time for different people, but the result is always the same, which is recovery. Things get better because that is a direct result of the recovery process. So as you start to recover, your mood will lift, you'll start to feel more connected, you'll start to feel more joy, you'll go out more, and before you know it, things are just back to normal. Sometimes with recovery, people think of it as like a day and night thing or a black and white thing, where just in the space of a week, somehow things will just magically get better. Let's say you're on the mend, but you are still having some existential thoughts like, well, what if this comes back? Or I'm scared to do this because I'm scared it's going to come back. Slowly, when you work on it, those thoughts are going to become less and less and less until before you know it, you're going to get to a point where you've gone a whole day without even thinking that. And then you would have gone 2 days, and then 4 days, and then 7 days, and then 2 weeks, a month, 10 months, 2 years. And that's just sort of how it works. You just slowly get back into that normal thing. There are some ways of thinking and some things that you do which might potentially slow down your recovery. Giving up. So if you give up and just reside or accept the fact that you will have this forever, then recovery is still possible, but it just might take longer and you might not get as far as you might come otherwise. Not doing the things you need to do. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. In other words, you can read advice and tips all day long, and people can suggest what to do until they're blue in the face. But unless you take action, nothing is going to happen. If you think DPDR is in some way helping you, then recovery can be slow and or difficult. For example, because you have no feelings, you can now do things that used to scare you. That is a massive benefit, but does it outweigh the cost? As you can see, there are quite a number of things that are potentially going to slow down or even put the brakes on your recovery. So it's good to sort of recognize those and see if you are doing any of those types of things, if you're forming any habits around that. Things will get better, and look back at evidence throughout your life where you've been feeling really down or really sad or really angry or whatever it is, and think to how you feel now. You don't feel that way anymore, do you? So while with the DPDR, it might take a little bit longer and you might have to actually put in a bit of work to do this, then eventually you're going to have the same thing. So in 5 years from now, it's just going to be like, oh yeah, God, I had that awful thing of DPDR and thank goodness I don't have that now. Everything's fine. So you're going to see it then in a different light to how you're seeing it now. Just as with some bad things that happened to you in the past, now they are just a little bit of a slightly bad memory, which doesn't even really affect you at all. Believing that things will get better will go a long way towards helping you, because it will open the doors to allow that recovery process to happen. And you're not going to be so defensive about it. You're not going to worry about it so much. You're going to start to sort of go along and go with the flow and perhaps see more of the positives rather than the negatives. And this is all really the stuff that you need to see and think about when you are getting over this thing. My friends, I hope you've learned a little bit from the video. And if you have learned something or like it, then hit the like button and also consider subscribing. That would be really cool. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.